This is a video about my book, writing my book, and some reflections while writing my book, Your Door to Innovation, 100 Models of Innovation, which I'm writing daily now. And the book is easy to write because I've got a 400 or 500 point outline, well done outline from a conference presentation, and I very carefully ordered all 500 of the slides and added a few and named them better, and now that's a great outline for the book. And I just start at 1 and go to 500, and it's 100 models. Out of those 500 points, 100 of them are models of innovation from 150 people who reached the top of 63 different fields by innovating well, as opposed to by designing well, or delivering managing functions well, or handling error well, or handling complexity well, or any of the other so-called excellent sciences. This is a book about the people who reach the top by innovating well. And they are not me, and their ways of innovating well are not Richard Green's way of innovating well. And so it's a challenge for me, number one, to understand where they're coming from and what they're saying and doing, and number two, to like it enough to convey it to clients and students. It's a challenge. It's an emotional and a mental challenge. And, you can easily unconsciously pull punches so that method 2 sounds great and exciting and method 3 sounds boring because I liked 2 and I didn't like 3. And that would be bad for the readers, and I try my best not to do that. I'll give you an example. One of the methods that was giving me trouble a couple of days ago was hating the college and what it did to you. Now, I love the college and what it did to me. But these guys who generated this model went back over college and made lists of 50, 70 things that harmful habits it put in them. And they organized this into a map of the bad stuff in them that they got from being in college. And then they started a 15-year program of getting that stuff out of them, putting better stuff in. If you went to a good college and then you love the elite feeling that it gives you automatically in most situations, that you can outdo, outperform, outthink, and outwork almost anybody around you, it's disarming to do the reverse of that and say that because I went to this college, I learned a whole bunch of bad habits like elite thinking and snobbery and not engaging with everybody, but only engaging with people that are elite like me, blah, 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 blah. 50 really bad mental habits that you have from that experience, and throwing them out, getting them out of your life. And in effect, well, why pay all that money to go get all that bad stuff if you're going to throw it away? It's fun. A lot of that bad stuff is fun and good for the self-esteem. In fact, these guys talked about a kind of bribe to fit in and bribe to be ordinary that's constantly going on 1,000 times during the day, and using a knife to cut those little bribes, each little bribe out. And so many of those little bribing to fit in and bribing to follow others and bribing not to upset others, so much of that comes from habits set to you in college. And it's as if, and then one guy, when I sort of didn't get his point almost deliberately because I didn't like it, he really challenged me in a very nasty way and direct way and said, well, why are you wasting my time talking to me, Mr. Green, if you're not going to listen to what I say? And what you said is not what I said. What I said is clear, and I said this is not what you said I said. And so we started over again, and I apologized and tried to listen better. And he said, negation is very, very important as a knife that cuts away the bribe cycle, these little million bribes a day, not a million, but 1,000 bribes a day, where people, little praises you like to repeatedly get, and little boosts to your self-esteem by comparing what you did with immense effort over weeks with what somebody else did casually in 3 minutes. It's showing how much better you are, forgetting about the time difference. And all that other stuff, these little cheaty habits to make you feel more powerful than you are without making you do more work than you now do. And he said, you cut a knife to those bribe cycles, and you don't get off that easy anymore. If you're going to do better work than somebody, you're going to have to really outwork them and not compare a hardworking part of your day with a slack part of their way and pretend that that represents either of you honestly. And so there's just lots of really sloppy, bad, self-serving habits, bribe cycles, he calls them, that you have to cut away. And your parents, they were a danger to you, what they put into you. At college, it was a danger what you put into you. Well, then what's left of your identity and your basis of pride? And he says nothing. You just cut away until there's no basis to be proud in this world. And you say goodbye to the emotion of pride. And you see, as soon as you think that and say those words, you're at a religious point, a deeply religious point, a kind of zazen point, where my whole daily existence was based on pride. And if I cut that out, I'm really at the point between life and death where my ultimate significance is perfectly unchanged by my life or my death. And all of my worries about importance are just self-torture and meaningless noise in the realities of the universe. You're at a real zazen point. In zazen, you sit and watch your mind. And you watch it until it makes you sick, because you watch and realize that you never see your mind when it's not generating worries. That's all it is a worry generator box. And as long as you follow it, you're going to be tortured with worry. And you have to watch your mind for months or days or years before you not mentally, you emotionally are revolted by your life and your mind. Until you cry, you're in despair that as long as I follow my own mind, my life will be hopeless torture and sadness. And only if I can somehow find some way to stop following my own concepts of mind, if I can do that, I have a chance for happiness. And hating your own liking of your own mind and pride in your mind. You see that? That's the doorway. And this model of innovation is rather similar. The sociological relationship bribe cycles that you use to make a life entirely based on pride. Everything you eat and say and do from morning to night and notice is based on making yourself feel important and proud. And if you cut that out, that's a very divine ontological standpoint. And that's where the innovator stands. And that's why they can take a direction that no one who's human and normal and bribed would imagine or take, that astonishes. And doesn't perpetuate old past ways and paradigms and problems with tinkering.